My name's Garrett Tribble, like Pat said. I own a company called WaterFarmers Urban Agriculture. We do a range of construction and landscaping projects related to foodscaping, food production, water harvesting, water management on people's properties, and greenscaping and green infrastructure. So sometimes we do green roofs, living walls, and we do some more weirder alternative and indoor agriculture projects too for hydroponics, aquaponics, fish hatchery projects. But today I'm talking about rainwater harvesting, which we do quite a bit of and we've been doing for quite a while. As an anecdote, and I'll try not to ramble too much because I know we're short on time, so I will fly through this and then there's a bunch of photos at the end of some other rainwater projects. But just as an interest point, I grew up not too far from here. I grew up on Burnham Thorpe Road, which used to be a nice country area, backing onto 16 Mile Creek. And the house I grew up in actually collected rainwater, which I didn't even really know what that was as a kid growing up. I just knew our well would run dry, usually when I was in the shower. And honestly, happened a ton. And I'd have to yell to my parents, switch the thing or whatever, switch the pump. And then we'd have a cistern. So we had a buried concrete cistern where the rainwater would go into. And as one more funny thing I was thinking about, also when I was a little hoodlum, we were playing with Nerf darts, Nerf guns, and one of us was up on the roof and we were trying to shoot at one of my friends, and so a bunch of Nerf darts got in our gutters and went into the downspout and into the cistern and clogged up the outlet port, and my dad had to go down in there and figure out what it was, and he came out with a handful of Nerf darts and wasn't happy about it. Yeah. So I met my old business partner in 2016, 2017, and we started WaterFarmers Urban Agriculture to kind of address this challenge and opportunity of producing food in urban areas, residential areas on a smaller scale. And then it's evolved over the years into larger projects, conventional farming, weird fish hatchery stuff, different types of hydroponics projects, but also just functional landscaping for homeowners. So growing food and herb gardens, helping people manage water on their properties, whether it's rain gardens or rainwater harvesting is a big thing we do on lots of different scales. And sometimes pollinator gardens and just nice landscaping stuff too. So we're still based out of Guelph. I have a shop up there. It's been about 9 years now. We work all over the place, and we work for homeowners, we work for farmers, we work for schools, community centers, and commercial growers and institutions. So yeah, today water farming, the name actually makes a lot of sense. It started out as hydroponics and aquaponics, but we do a lot of rainwater harvesting, so water farming makes even more sense now than when we started. We did some training years ago. We're a member of ARCSA, which is the American Rainwater Catchment Systems Association. And we do all kinds of systems from small barrels like we've all seen to a little more sophisticated like one I have in my booth to really big 12,000 liter tanks and underground buried systems and all kinds of different things for different use cases. So yeah, why would you want to harvest rainwater? It's free. It's similar to solar power, right? The infrastructure is not free, certainly, and the installation is not free. But once you have that in place, the water is coming off your roof anyways, so you might as well do something with it. And another reason is because sometimes it can be a big problem on your property, right? We all know this, I imagine, but aside from just wet spots and maybe a little bit of erosion, if that water gets into your basement or your foundations, could be a big problem. So at the very least, trying to manage it on your property, long downspouts, get it away from your house, build a rain garden like Sean or other people might do, probably better than me, but we do that too. Or put it in a vessel and then have the overflow go somewhere responsible. Also, you know, you're collecting water, you're using it on your property, you're reducing your dependence somewhat on municipal infrastructure or maybe on your well if you're in a rural area, which is good. But you're also, especially in an urban area, reducing how much water you're putting back into the municipal infrastructure. So you're decreasing how much stormwater you're putting into often undersized municipal infrastructure, which is good. Save money, questionable. You can definitely cut down some of your water bill, but the infrastructure costs money. And if you're doing things like indoor systems with filtration, there's operational costs to continue to test your water, change filters, change UV bulbs, things like that. And then, yeah, why would you want to use it? If it's a non-potable, simple system, you're not going to drink it, you're not bathing in it. Irrigation, vegetable gardening, watering your lawn if you want. You can use it in different types of appliances in your home that don't need as much treatment as if you were going to drink or cook with the water. So you can put it to a toilet, you can do laundry with it, wash your car, whatever. And if you are going to treat it, that's a simple 3-stage filtration system with a UV bulb that brings your water up to drinking standards. And so then you can use it for everything in your home. Right? So how to harvest rainwater now? Don't overthink it. You're taking water from a roof and you're putting it in something. So there's lots of different, you can get very sophisticated. There's lots of cool gadgets out there, but basically you're putting water in a tank and use it. That's the main thing. A lot of people set up a barrel. It's great. You're not doing any harm, but you might be breeding mosquitoes for one thing, not great. But you should use the water. You should find a way, even if it's a simple hose spigot, or just a tap, or just a way to get the water out of it and actually use it on your property, so you can really benefit from it. So rain's falling on your roof, get it into a barrel, find a way to get it out of the barrel. You can get into pumps, you can get into all kinds of things. Make sure you have an overflow path so that the barrels are just overflowing right beside your home, which I see a lot. And don't let stuff like Nerf darts or anything get in your tank. So pine cones will clog stuff up, leaves, whatever. You don't want too much gunk in there. So there's a lot of different pre-filtered products out there. The main components, you have a catchment area, that's your roof, right? Some area where water's falling onto where you're catching it. Conveyance, you're bringing it through gutters and downspouts and piping to something, a vessel. But before you put it in that vessel, you should have some level of pre-filtration, leaf screen, first flush diverter. It's all kinds of stuff out there to prevent gunk and junk from getting in your tank. You have a tank on a good foundation so it doesn't tip over. Some way for overflow, extra water to get out of the tank safely where it's not going to be a problem. Distribution would be a pump or a hose spigot or some way to get the water. Treatment if you're doing it, and insufficient water provisions. This one's a little more fancy, but for if your home is depending on a rainwater cistern, at the very least you'd want to have some ability for a water truck to bring water in to fill it up, a way for a municipal water line to top it up so that the tank doesn't run dry, or you can get into wacky solenoid valves, which you do sometimes when there's crossover floats and all kinds of gadgetry. But again, you have a catchment area, water's coming down through conveyance one way or another through a pre-filter into a tank with an overflow, some way for a pump or distribution to get that water to where you want it, your kind of use point, whether it's a hose spigot or your tap in your kitchen or whatever, and then top-up systems if it's warranted. So pre-filters, really important. Gutter guards are cool. They're pretty common now. There's pros and cons to those, but I see them more and more often, which is a good first step. Then there's leaf screens you can get pretty readily available. A first flush is a neat thing. So, obviously a screen is going to stop leaves and pine needles and stuff, tennis balls, whatever, from getting in the piping and in the tank, which is good. First flush diverter is cool. Some pre-filters have this built in, but basically the first flush of water, if you're washing your dishes at your home and you're rinsing your plate off, that's the first flush. It's all the first gunk. And then you would want to treat the water if you need to. So that first flush of water off a roof is what has all the pollen and on the dirt and the bird poop. You want to try to have that bypass your tank completely. So with a first flush system like this, or like this, the first bit of water is just going into a pipe and slowly dripping away over the next couple of days. And once that first flush is full, then the next wash of water and the ongoing water is cleaner, right? So that's allowed to go into your tank. Tanks, so many different types. We have a nice one at our booth, but a normal rain barrel, there's nothing wrong with that. Any kind of vessel, basically. There are some key points. Plastic is pretty much the way to go, for better or worse. That's just what's most available and cost effective. Opaque, you don't want it to allow sunlight in. You don't want to grow algae in there. Something on a stable foundation, something that's child-proof, so kids can't get in it. Mosquito-proof, so bugs can't get in it. Critter-proof. So you want to have some grading on your pipes and such. And overflow is really important, and so is a foundation for the tank. Because I see, and there's nothing wrong. You can put it up on a little pedestal to get better gravity flow out of it, but you want to make sure it's not going to tip over. A liter of water is a kilogram of weight, so a 1,000-liter tank is 1,000 kilograms. That's a ton of water. So you want to have a good, stable foundation for it. And you really want to make sure your overflow piping is getting that water somewhere manageable, away from your building. 10 commandments, tank, food safe, opaque, bug-proof, child-proof. Bigger is better if possible. Rain is infrequent, so you want to get as much as you can when it's a big rain event, so you have somewhere when it's not raining. There is kind of a point we can get into if you want to ask me about it later, but tank on a sturdy foundation, stop stuff from getting in your tank. Make sure you have an overflow, put a rain garden in, great option. Overflow pipe, don't choke it off, so make sure your piping is of adequate size to move. If you have a bunch of 4-inch pipe coming in, you should have at least a 4-inch pipe going out. Glue your pipes, put your plumbing hat on, T-tape fittings, actually attach stuff securely. I see all kinds of stuff that falls apart in a big rain event, which is not good. Drain them in October if they're above ground tanks so things don't freeze and break. Obviously use appropriate treatment if you're using the water. in your home or for anything where it might contact people and use the water. Design considerations, this is getting a little tech heavy. Basically, you're trying to figure out the volume of water that's coming off your roof. Volume in a rectangle is simple. It's length times width times height. So for height, we're talking about millimeters of rain. Metric is a wonderful thing. I came from a construction background, so I'm still kind of learning. I'm more stuck in inches and feet, but the metric system is wonderful. So if you have a roof, 100 feet, 20 feet, whatever it is, your length and width, you can figure it out on Google Earth, or you can just measure your house. You have your length and width. You just need to look at the amount of rain in a period of time. So I think in a couple of days, we have like a 5 millimeter rain event coming. Over a course of a month, you might have 50 millimeters of rain or whatever. It changes month to month, right? And you just want to calculate based on this length and width, what is the height of water, the amount of water that's going on there, and then that'll give you your volume of water that's coming off of that roof. It really is quite simple. It can get more sophisticated, and when we do more sophisticated projects with people, we get a little deeper into it. But basically, if you had a 10 meter by 10 meter roof, you got 100 square meters. If you're getting 10 millimeters of rain, that's your length and width. You're forming this cube of water, if you envision it. So you could get 1,000 liters potentially. And then we always add a capture efficiency of 70%. So you're saying we're going to lose 20 or 30% due to water splashing off. It's evaporating. The pre-filter is moving away some of the water. So you're losing some. So we have an adjusted capture is always what we try to work with. Anyone can do this. You can go on, get government data from different weather stations around Ontario and around all of Canada. You go to this website, you put in the information you want. It's pretty interesting. You can see like extreme heat events and all kinds of wacky stuff. There's 30-year averages. And so this one's at the airport in Toronto. It'll tell you each month, in this case, you could get into year-round stuff, but for a seasonal above-ground system, you're going to drain it in the winter. You're looking at the different millimeters of rain per month. And so specifically, this window from May to October is typically, you're not going to get any more snow. Things aren't going to freeze. So that's kind of the 6-month window in Ontario for collecting rainwater in an above ground, not heated tank. So in this case, you'd add this all up, you get your 6 months total of rainfall in that area. Again, we're just kind of guessing, okay, it's a 10 meter by 10 meter roof that's like 30 by 30 feet sort of. So over this period, you're getting that much millimeters of rain. It's a simple calculation, you're gonna get that much rain over 6 months. And then you can adjust that with that loss coefficient, so you'd be more like 30,000. So each month, if the world was perfect and you could divide it perfectly, you'd get about 5,000 liters per month.